Hello everyone, welcome to Wonder Garden. Today I'm going to reveal to you a very interesting secret. Propagating orchids directly from the flower stems that have already bloomed. Many people often discard wilted flower stems, but in fact, they still hold tremendous vitality and can bring you entirely new orchid plants. The special thing is that this method is not complicated at all. You don't need advanced techniques or fancy tools. With just a few simple steps, you can make use of old flower stems to turn them into lush, healthy, and vibrant orchid pots. This method is especially useful for those who are new to caring for orchids or simply want to save costs while still propagating more new orchid plants, making your garden increasingly rich and radiant. Let's get started. When your orchid flower stems have bloomed brilliantly and gradually wilted, don't rush to cut them off and throw them away. Because right on those seemingly worthless flower stems, we can still create new life. Today I will share with you how to propagate orchids from these flower stems. In addition to the English voice, we have now created dubbed voices in French, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, Hindi, and Indonesian to help you understand the content more easily. Listen in your preferred language by opening the video and clicking on Settings, the gear icon, to select the appropriate audio language. With the dormant buds still intact, I will separate them into small segments, each segment keeping only one bud, as this makes propagation easier. At the top of the cut orchid stem, you should use a very sharp and thin knife to refine the cut. This method ensures a neat cut, prevents crushing, and reduces the risk of bacterial infection, providing the dormant buds with the cleanest and safest environment to develop. Next, on these dormant buds, I will gently peel off the thin membrane covering them. This small action helps the buds wake up more easily, unhindered by the hard outer layer. When exposed to air and suitable humidity, the young shoots will have a better chance to sprout healthily. Which country are you watching this video from? It's wonderful that we can connect with each other from all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit the subscribe button to support me and not miss any orchid care tips. At the lower part of the dormant bud, I will cut it at an angle like this. This increases the surface area for nutrient absorption, promoting the sprouting and rooting process of the dormant bud more quickly. Next, I prepare 2 fresh aloe vera leaves. This is a familiar natural ingredient that not only safely stimulates root growth, but also protects the orchid stem from harmful bacteria and fungi. I will insert the orchid stem into the fleshy part of the aloe vera leaf, allowing the transparent gel to directly soak into the dormant bud and the cuts. When placed like this, the bud will be immersed in the aloe vera flesh, fully absorbing nutrients and quickly being awakened to sprout. This method also allows the aloe vera's nutrients to penetrate deeper, naturally promoting the root formation process. After placing the orchid stem in the leaf, I let it sit for about 1 hour so that the nutrients from the aloe vera can evenly soak into each dormant bud and nourish them from within. The remaining aloe vera I will cut into small pieces to make full use of it. Aloe vera contains many natural nutrients, especially enzymes and minerals that stimulate sprouting, nourish the root system, and enhance the orchid stem's resistance. I put all the chopped aloe vera into a very clean glass jar. Then add about 500 milliliters of water. Then, I let it sit for 1 hour. During this time, the nutrients from the aloe vera will gradually seep out and dissolve into the water, creating a highly nutritious natural solution. The next ingredient I prepare is cinnamon powder. This is a familiar natural ingredient with excellent antibacterial properties, helping to protect the cut from rotting and creating safe conditions for the dormant bud to develop. I use about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Put it into the glass jar, and then add 500 milliliters of boiling water. When exposed to hot water, the natural antibacterial compounds from the cinnamon will be extracted, creating a particularly effective solution to protect and support the healing process of the cuts. After that, I simply close the lid and let the mixture cool naturally. While waiting for the solution to cool, I take the opportunity to prepare a mini nursery garden specifically for these orchid stems. It's very simple. I use a small plastic cup like this. Next, I take a piece of floral foam and cut it to fit snugly at the bottom of the cup. This foam will keep the orchid stem stable while creating a suitable humid environment for young roots to form and develop easily. After about 1 hour, I gently take the cutting out of the aloe vera leaf. At this point, the transparent gel has deeply penetrated the dormant bud and the cut, creating a perfect foundation for the next propagation stage. Next, I filter out the aloe vera pulp, keeping only the clear and purest solution. When the cinnamon water has completely cooled, I mix the two solutions together, creating a special nourishing mixture for the roots. Before using it, I also carefully filter out the cinnamon pulp to ensure the solution is clean, avoiding any impact on the delicate young cuttings. To further enhance the vitality for the rooting process, I prepare vitamin B, a familiar ingredient often used to stimulate root development. I add 3 vitamin B tablets, each containing about 2.5 milligrams. With this moderate dosage, the cutting will be optimally supported to root faster, heal wounds, and develop healthily and safely. I use the prepared mixture to soak the cutting for about 20 minutes. When soaking, I always ensure that the dormant bud is fully submerged in the solution. Thanks to this, the nutrients can penetrate deeply inside, awakening the bud, stimulating the sprouting process, and creating conditions for a new young plant to begin its vigorous growth journey. The remaining solution I will pour into a small spray bottle. Then, I take the bottle to the garden and lightly spray it on the orchid pots I'm caring for. This solution is not only useful for young orchid cuttings starting their life journey, but also helps mature orchids maintain vitality, stay lush, and grow healthier every day. You can use this solution to spray on orchids about once every 2 weeks, or alternate with other natural fertilizers during the care process. This way, the orchids will always receive a balanced and complete source of nutrients. With the combination of natural ingredients like aloe vera, cinnamon, and vitamin B1, the solution also helps the plant fight fungal diseases, recover quickly after pruning or repotting, and keep the orchids in a healthy, vibrant state. After soaking for about 20 minutes, I gently take the cutting out and use a clean cloth to pat it dry. Once the cutting is dry, I use a bit of candle wax to apply to the cut. This thin layer of wax acts like a protective shield, preventing bacteria or fungi from entering, helping the wound heal faster and safer. However, there's one very important thing to note. We only apply wax to the upper part of the dormant bud. The lower part will be in contact with moisture and absorb nutrients, so leave it uncovered to allow the cutting to easily absorb water and nutrients, supporting the sprouting and rooting process later. Next, I will insert the prepared orchid cuttings into the foam in the plastic cup. When placing them, I always handle them gently to ensure the cutting is securely fixed without being crushed. After that, I use filtered water to provide moisture to the orchid cutting. One thing to note is that we only let the water cover about a portion of the foam like this, absolutely not letting the water reach the cutting. Finally, I will use plastic wrap to cover the top of the cup. This layer will help maintain stable humidity inside, creating an ideal environment like a mini greenhouse for the young orchid cuttings. However, to ensure the plant can still breathe and avoid being suffocated, I will make a few small holes in the plastic wrap. These small holes will allow air to circulate gently throughout the propagation process, keeping the environment inside both humid and airy, sufficient for the young shoots to develop healthily and safely. After completing all the steps, I will place the pot in a very cool Results after 3 weeks. After about 3 weeks of propagation, you will see young shoots starting to emerge from the dormant buds. This is a clear sign that the cutting is developing healthily and has great potential to become a new, vibrant orchid plant. When the plant starts developing from the dormant bud and young roots have formed, this is the right time to add natural fertilizer. Providing appropriate nutrients will help the young orchid become healthier and more vigorous. At this stage, since the plant is still small and delicate, I only use 1 tablespoon of rice as fertilizer. This moderate amount of fertilizer will provide a gentle source of nutrients, avoiding shock to the plant in its early growth stage. I add about 500 milliliters of water. Stir well to obtain a clear, nutrient-rich rice water solution. Then, I pour the solution into a spray bottle and mist it evenly over the orchid buds. This method helps the nutrients penetrate deeply into both the young shoots and roots, supporting the growth process naturally and effectively. I maintain spraying diluted rice water about once every 7 to 10 days. This regular care will help the orchid continuously receive nutrients, growing healthier and more sustainably. Finally, place the plant in a spot with gentle sunlight. Suitable light will help the plant photosynthesize effectively with lush green leaves and rapid, vibrant growth. Results after 3 months. After 3 months, you can see that the orchids from the cuttings have grown very healthily. The fresh green, sturdy, and thicker leaves showed that the plant is absorbing nutrients well and growing steadily. This is the right time to transfer them to an outdoor environment. I use finely crushed pine bark as a growing medium. On the surface, I add a thin layer of moss to maintain stable humidity around the base. Then, I place the orchid on top and secure it firmly. In the early stage, simply water regularly when the medium dries out to maintain moisture. This is a natural, easy, and suitable propagation method for beginners. If you are patient, dedicated, and care with all your love, surely one day you will have a radiant garden where orchid pots bloom beautifully, sparkling like a gift from nature.